And we were talking to Joe Schmidt at the Six Nations launch last week, and one of the really interesting things, he tends to put his little subtle points in there mixed into about a 5-minute long answer, and you pick out the little nugget. But he talked about this new breed of forward coming through in the Ireland squad. James Ryan, Dan Levy, Josh van der Fleer, these guys who are a little bit more comfortable handling the ball. And he said maybe 4 years ago, no offence Mike, but he said maybe 4 years ago he didn't have forwards who could do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, excuse me.
You just weren't allowed.
You weren't encouraged, were you?
Did you not see him a little offload to like Josh van der Fleer against England a couple of years ago? Come on.
I'll dig that one out, I'll tweet it out.
Thing of beauty, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Ireland have probably got forwards now who are more comfortable handling the ball. We're going to look at a couple of examples here from November and a couple of examples out of the provinces as well. It's just an exciting aspect of the game, and even in the last couple of years, I don't know if you can bring up the stats on Luke, can you? Just the percentage of passes by the forwards has just gradually risen. It's only been a slight rise, but back in 2014, 13% of Ireland's total passes were by their forwards. Dips down to 11% the next year, World Cup back to 13, and then you can see over the last couple of kind of big series, the percentage of Ireland's total passes by forwards has gone up slightly. Like, it's not a great leap, but it's just a slight growth in their game, and I think we can see it on the pitch. Like, those numbers, I checked them out actually after putting this package together, and I was obviously delighted that the stats had backed up all that hours of work.
Yeah.
But I think we've seen it on the pitch, and I'm going to show a couple of examples here. The first guy is CJ Sander. He's not one of the new breed, really. I remember he came to Ireland, and at the start I thought he was just a kind of flat track bully. I think that perception is still out there, but we're actually seeing him a lot more now, passing the ball. Like, he's still going to have huge carry stats, but in this example, he's the guy in that front pod of 3 forwards, and Johnny Sexton's out the back. You're going to see this pattern quite a bit in the next couple of minutes. And he just turns, swivels, plays a pass to Johnny Sexton. Rory Best runs that hard, kind of flat decoy line, and they go out the back door to Bundy Aki. Now this actually goes to deck, but if Johnny's pass had gone to Bundy Aki, he can get to that inside shoulder there of Dylan Lades, and then he can probably free up Jacob Stockley at the left. Obviously there is a South African scrum half covering across, but you can see that one little pass by CJ Sander creates a possibility a little bit further at the pitch, whereas before he might have carried. This one's a little bit more successful. Again, he's in exactly the same position. This is a pattern we saw loads from Ireland. Again, those 3 forwards there, Johnny at the back. And it's really interesting to see them exiting their 22 in this way. You see the second wave of attack, there's Cian Healy running a flat line. Peter Manny's going to do the same here, a kind of double screen again. But again, it's that little pass from CJ Sander. It's not particularly brilliant at drawing in a defender, just allows them to get to a different space of the field and they make yards up the left. We see it here from Munster, even with his province. Like, this is a prime CJ Sander boshing situation on the pitch. He's 5 metres out, like, carry hard. But now he just realising how condensed those forwards are there. Just turns, swivels, releases the ball out the back. Now Ian Keatley can expose this isolated defender. He can run at his inside shoulder, it's Yannick Nyanga, and free Farrell there. And it's just a little pass from CJ Sander, but it makes all the difference when you're trying to convert those chances close to the line. Other guys in the Ireland team can do it. We know Peter Manny's got good hands. He puts a little tip-on pass there to Stander in a better position. Carry hard. It's still a strong carry, but it's done with that little extra bit of animation. Here, Peter Manny is again. We got that pod of 3 with the playmaker at the back. You can see the space there. Ireland maybe have struggled to get that at times, but now we see Peter Manny turn, swivel, release the pass, and they can attack up the left. O'Mahony's comfortable. Sean O'Brien obviously missing now, but he's comfortable to throw those passes as well. In terms of the new breed, I think James Ryan is a really interesting example. We see him here. It's a tip-on pass from O'Brien, and then a lovely offload from James Ryan to O'Mahony. Again, they're getting out to that width and actually challenging the defence in a different way. Here's an example for Leinster. Jack McGrath tip-on, James Ryan, great hands, offload. Another one of the new breed, it's Dan Levy. Another offload, and Leinster can kick in behind. It's still part of their kicking game. They put pressure on. Montpellier scramble across, and actually from this line out they score a try with their maul, so it's actually a try scoring weapon as well. This is an example for Ireland. We've seen them further up the pitch there in the first couple of examples, but now they're in the 22, and people probably remember this example. Joey Carberry, it is all about his magic. He dances between the defence, lovely skip pass out to Sweetenham, but again it's that little link pass. It's Rob Herring in the front line, who actually had a good November series, I think, and he just links. When we see the reverse there, he's in the middle of that pod again, look, exactly the same setup. And there's Herring on the ball there. What Andrew Porter does here is really important. He's on his right, and he's just going to run this hard line here and kind of close off that Fijian defender. When you run it on, you can see Porter get that block, and look at that disconnect now. just there. That's what Joey Carberry lives for when he's on the pitch. Also, that's a tight head prop. Again, I feel like I'm abusing tight head props tonight, sorry. But that's what Joey Carberry wants. He wants to run at a guy like that. You can see his footwork turn on. Just that little link pass makes a big difference. And then our final example is against South Africa, the last try of the game. Again, Carberry, integrity involved. He crossfield kicked. Sweetenham gathers the ball. Herring actually hits the ruck really well. And Ireland are into the 22 in a position where, generally we've probably seen them smash that ball up. Let's beat this team for work rate. Let's make them make a load of tackles in the 22. But this time, Kilcoyne, who's probably been guilty of not showing this pass in other situations, even with Munster, he turns, goes out the back door, and Carberry, Henshaw, Conway are able to take the chance. Good finish from Stockdale. But again, they're in that 22, they're converting really clinically. And I'm not saying they're going to be doing this every single time now, but it's just having that option, having that awareness. And just a final point, like if you're talking about a new breed of forwards, again, I feel really bad here. Tyke Furlong, he's got exceptional ability.
I taught him everything he knows. I don't know what the heck here, being.
Just two examples. He stays square off the pitch. Like a lot of forwards in the passing tend to get quite lateral. Pause it here. He's actually interesting, that defender. He's quite square off the pitch, straight up the field, and he's going to give Delan a chance to get a one-on-one and use his fend. If your tight head prop is doing that, I think it's quite encouraging. And just in general, through all those examples, we're seeing Irish forwards make better decisions. What Schmidt is referring to with guys who are a little bit more aware of the space and can kind of mix it up a little bit. I don't think we're going to see All Blacks-esque kind of counter-attacking with tight head props throwing massive passes, but it's definitely a development, and it'll be really interesting to see where that goes over the course of the championship.